So we bombed Iran and killed the leadership, right? We killed the Ayatollah Khamenei, whatever his name is, the supreme leader. Nobody seems to have an answer for what's next.
Until now. Shh. How about this?
What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here, and I've been talking about this war for way too long, too many times already. I don't want us to forget Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. We're not going to let this distract us from the fact that he's ruining our economy. He's putting soldiers in the streets. Even though the courts told him to take them away, he's just turned the new soldiers into what we call now ICE agents. Masked people in the streets, destroying the lives of Americans and the Constitution right along with it. We won't forget that. But you also know, if you've been watching for the past couple of days, I've just been a little confused, is all. I'm just a little confused. So we bombed Iran and killed the leadership, right? We killed the Ayatollah Khamenei, whatever his name is, the supreme leader. And we killed Mousavi, the commander-in-chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. And I see MAGA spiking a fantasy football about the bombing while 27% of Americans support it. According to the latest Reuters poll, at least. And it's been 27% for the last 7 days. It's the same super majority, the loudest minority on earth, 27% that support this bombing in Iran. And let's not forget, these are the same people who were chanting no new wars at Trump rallies before the election. And now look at them. Look at them, YouTube. These guys are supporting a new war wholeheartedly with their chest. Trump can flip them quicker than a 14-year-old girl. So it seems. But besides that, nobody seems to have an answer for what's next.
Until now. Shh. How about this?
I want to take you back briefly to 1994. In 1994, there was a terrorist attack, a bombing at the AMIA Jewish Community Center in Buenos Aires, Argentina. This was caused by a suicide bomber in a van loaded with 300 kilograms of explosives. The attack killed 85 people, more than 300 were injured, and this was the largest terrorist attack in Argentina's history. All right? No one has ever faced any justice for that attack. But in 2025, Argentina courts recognized the attack as a state-sponsored act of terrorism and a crime against humanity. The courts ruled that 10 suspects faced trials in absentia. Now, some of the accused, YouTube, were high-ranking officials within the Iranian government. Also accused were known members of Hezbollah. Yeah. You see, Argentinian prosecutors and international intelligence agencies blamed Hezbollah with direction and support of the Iranian government for the bombing. Interpol issued a red notice at the request of Argentina. This notice specifically named Ahmad Vahidi. Remember that name, because at the time, he was the leader of the Quds forces in Iran. Now, the Quds forces is a branch of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. These officers are highly trained, similar to the training of our own special forces. But the difference is they're also trained in intelligence. So it's like if you want to mix like our Navy SEALs and our Army Rangers with the CIA. This will be important. This is the branch of the Iranian military that conducts clandestine, foreign operations, like funding terrorist organizations, and planning bombings in places like Argentina. And when you say Iran funds terrorism, you mean the Quds forces. That's what we're talking about. And Ahmad Vahidi was the leader of the Quds forces in 1994. And he is so good at what he does, which is bombing up buildings and killing people and spreading Iran's state-sponsored terrorism. His trial in absentia in Argentina is ongoing this year, after just being approved by the courts to move on. This is where we begin to realize there's no way that anyone in the Trump administration has even considered what the situation in Iran might look like the next day. And it's become so clear that the concept of cause and effect is too complex for Donald Trump. He can't even consider an alternative to pooping himself, let alone what his actions in foreign policy might cause. He's become nothing more than BB's lapdog while hiding from the Epstein files. That's a fact. You know how we know it's a fact? Well, because Hegseth said it. And now so did he, the orange guy. They said it, but I want to go back to Ahmad Vahidi, state-sponsored terrorist guy. 4 years after the bombing in Argentina, Ahmad Vahidi left his command position in the Quds forces. He began a slow but steady ascent through the Iranian military and political hierarchy. He served as Minister of Planning, Minister of Defense, Minister of the Interior, and several other prominent posts within the Iranian government. He was even president of their premier military academy at one point. And now, good and decent people of YouTube, this guy, Ahmad Vahidi, has a new position. The former commander of the Quds forces and the man that is most responsible for spreading state-sponsored Iranian terrorism has now been named the commander-in-chief of the entire Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Let me say it again. The man that will stand trial in absentia in Argentina this year for terrorism charges has just been named the overall leader of the entire Iranian armed forces. This was a direct result of Donald Trump's bombing. Trump gave this guy a promotion. As if Mousavi, the guy Trump killed, wasn't bad enough, huh? As if that guy wasn't bad enough, now we have this known terrorist to deal with. And he will turn the entire Iranian army into the Quds forces. The branch of the military that are known terrorists, because that's how he was trained. That's what he knows. Planning and funding terrorist attacks is what he knows, and it's how they will fight. So I sure hope that the Epstein class down there in Mar-a-Lago enjoy their champagne toast and their high fives. But this is far from over. It looks like we're just getting started. We've lost 8 Americans already, many more injured. Now Iranians have just struck Saudi oil refinery, redid the same back, and it's back and forth, destruction, leaving our economy to also be counted among the casualties of this war. So don't sip that champagne too slowly, because it's a different type of tactics that they will be using. And quite frankly, they're not dumb enough to think it was anybody else's fault. I'm just saying, what's next? What's next, huh? Well, I can tell you this, what's next for you and me, for the resistance. Citizens Impeachment Coalition, FLAIR 5051. We, the resistance, are holding resistance training in DC on the 29th. We're lobbying in our own districts on the 30th. We're going to lobby in DC on the 27th. This is a No King's Day on the 28th. What you see here is just the beginning. That's what happens next for us. We don't stop fighting. We don't. Right here, you're going to see a QR code. Click on that code. Find out more. You want to train? You want to learn how to be a part of the active resistance? More than just standing in the park. Direct action to the people who make the decisions. That's the key. That's the key. Now, I know my mic broke down a little bit halfway through, but I hope that you got the news. And when you ask yourself what's next, this is what's next. Because the time to fight is now. Hey, yeah, you. Before you click away to watch someone unbox a tactical toothbrush, let's talk about something real. Political Drain isn't just another content mill. We're a digital front in a very real war. Not with bullets, but with ideas, with action, and with solidarity. We pair urgent news with critical education. And we build community around actual resistance, not the hashtag kind. The kind that moves. But here's the thing. None of this is free. It isn't. Behind every video is time, labor, research, and some weird guy asking if we're going to pay the hosting bill. And yeah, some of that money goes to things we can't necessarily say out loud. If you know, you know. Let's just say our special ops aren't Call of Duty LARPers. They're people making real moves to protect, uplift, and organize. You're not just funding a channel. You're funding a resistance network in a world where capital still calls the shots. Unfortunately, in a system built on artificial scarcity, even mutual aid has a price tag. And if we want to grow, if we want to win, we need your help. We need your help. So if you've got even a few bucks to spare, toss it our way. It's not for ads, it's not for merch drops, but for people making moves in the shadows so others can do it in the light. It's just us and you. So fund the mission, fund the fight, fund the future, because nobody's coming to save us. We save each other. That's how this works.